So now I'm going to show you the components for the Simple Stuff work system. It basically is a bed that you put together, again, individualized to each person and their needs. Everything is washable, it is FDA approved, it's medical grade, and every piece is kind of built with a particular purpose in mind. So that you'll see this is like a rubberized mesh sheet. It's similar to what you might see in a drawer, like a kitchen drawer liner, but it's antimicrobial, it's washable, it's durable. And so what they do is you create the bed and the supports between these rubberized mesh. So there's no Velcro, there's nothing that you kind of rip out in the middle of the night and wake up a child with. But you'll put different supports in place between these rubberized sheets so they don't move. And anybody who's ever tried to support your child with a pillow or different stuffed animals, you know, halfway through the night or within an hour, the supports get away from you. So the benefit of this is that everything is under the sheets. So you'll put little supports in place, you put the 2 layers of the mesh over it, 1 layer over and 1 under. Then there is a mattress topper, and that is made out of a special bamboo fiber, and they've done pressure studies to see, you know, the relief of pressure. It's moisture wicking, so if you're sweaty, that helps give a little cooling area underneath. Then on top of everything, so I'll put my other lateral support. These are 2 little lateral supports. Put that on this side, create almost a hammock effect. So it's round like the rib cage versus a very planar system that can be cause pressure against the body. And these can be angled and positioned wherever it's needed. And then you cover it with a stretchy 4-way stretch sheet. Tuck it in all the way around. Once it's done, it creates a really nice, soft, pillowy place to be positioned for the child. One of the things that I liked about Simple Stuff Works that I saw first was their hip stabilizer. That's what is shown in the video with the girl and her grandma. I really like that piece. I've tried lots and lots of different things to keep kids with their hips abducted during the night, and it's usually a swash brace or something that's just not comfortable. So that is a nice, soft, cushiony support. I don't have any anymore because I've given them all out. I feel like it's even the one I had for an assessment, I had a little boy that really needed it, so I was like, okay, I'll lend it out until I can get him one. I do have this other alternative, which is a multi-plane positioner. So this does the similar thing. You're going to put the child's legs, and this is for a small child. The legs will go through, and you would put it as far up as you can, close to the hips. These little supports kind of bend down, so it just forms to wherever the legs go across. And if the child moves a lot, you can put a little strap on. Sometimes with this one, if the child has a lot of hip and knee flexion, I would even prop it up on another little support underneath. So this would go on outside of the sheets. Additionally, there are really nice, like a really soft, comfy horseshoe pillow. Sometimes I put that under the head. Sometimes I'll put it at the bottom under a child's legs. There are soft wedges. So again, these are really squishy and soft. Same bamboo fiber. If the child always tilts their head to one side, I might even stick it under one side of the pillow so that it gives a little bit more of a barrier for that head turn and head tilt. These are not small, these are quite large, but again, I've given away all the small ones. These are the little boots that go on for pressure relief. So if you have hip and knee flexion contractures and your heels are resting on whatever surface, eventually they're going to feel pressure. So the point is to keep all the pressure off of the heel. And so you can see there's a little hole exactly where the heel goes. It's also pretty thick on the bottom, so it prevents that foot drop. And it's reinforced on one side, so if the child has a tendency to roll the foot in or out, you just put that to the side that the foot is going to turn. And just tuck in their heel, buckle it around, and then once it's on, it's pretty much going to stay. You put it where you feel like you want it, tighten it up, and if the child even kicks their feet, it doesn't go anywhere. It's still in place, and lots of good pressure relief under the heel. And that's the thing that I like about the Simple Stuff Works, is it once you put things on, they stay pretty good, but the child can move. They're not strapped into something. They're able to reposition themselves and then fall back into the right place. It is important to do trunk and hips. A lot of times I think, again, I really wanted hip abduction for years and years and years on kids, and I really couldn't maintain it, but I was missing the point. I couldn't just take care of the hips, I had to take care of the trunk as well. So this is a really nice soft alternative to something that's hard for somebody to lean and lay against for prolonged periods of time. And like I said, Simple Stuff Works is FDA approved. It is all medical grade. So even though it looks much more like it says, simple stuff, it is high quality and well made, and the things tend to last for several years. But eventually you may need to get replacement parts. So it's sold in kits that are like kind of the standard kit, but you can also buy just parts, and they can be imported. We don't really have a distributor for this product yet in the US, but they can be ordered from England. And that is the Simple Stuff Works. Thank you. So this is the Symmetric Kit Postural Care Kit for babies. It's called the Primo. I'm sorry, it's upside down. And it is now being sold in the US, I think through some of the local vendors, National Seating and Mobility, New Motion apparently have been able to submit for them. I have tried. I haven't yet gotten any approvals, but I have submitted through National Seating and Mobility for a couple of these systems. This obviously is the baby version, which is really kind of nice. It is made to be portable, so easy to take to a daycare or grandma's house or wherever you might travel with your baby. It has a special cool over cover that's moisture wicking. There's an underlayer that is Velcro sensitive, so I can place pieces and it snaps together, and the under layer is also snapped to the bottom. So you have different pieces that you can put into place wherever you like with Velcro on the bottom, and you cover it with your cover and it will stay in place then. So it's nice for a variety of different positions, not only for just supine sleep. You can also position them prone and side lying, and I just tried something in sitting and I kind of like it. The under layer of this is a honeycomb material, so it's very pressure sensitive. Usually little ones don't have that much problem with pressure, but you'd be surprised how often the wiggly little kids, they're just trying to get pressure relief and they don't really know how to do it. So that is the Primo. Symmetric Kit comes in sizes much larger than this, and you can order it as a kit or you can order it by piece. So if you go on their website, they have a lot of good information and lots of good some research and videos on how to set it up. But I wanted to show you this, the Primo, and thank you. Thank you. So that's basically how you set up the Jencks Dreama bed. It is in many different components. Some of the things that I'd like to point out is that each of these has a waterproof fabric cover, and each of the foam pieces has these little slits in them that gives a lot of pressure relief. So somebody who has a lot of difficulty with bony prominences finds the support of this mattress quite comfortable. In the night, if a child or a person has any incontinence issues, it is possible to change the sheet covers on one or two of these sections without taking the person out of bed. The ability to change position is fairly simple by gliding the individual pieces along the track with this little foot that slides in between the track, and then as you tilt it forward, it slides into place but locks into place once weight is put against the top of it. So these can be easily repositioned. The couple of things that I've found with the kids that I've had use them, the weight of the aluminum frame is pretty heavy. I just weighed it and it was 34 pounds. So if you wanted to move this as a setup bed, which I did a few minutes ago, I had to get my husband to help me because it's kind of cumbersome. If you take it apart, it's doable by one person, but then you have many of these little individual components that you have to also bring if you're going to take it somewhere. One of the things I noticed as I was setting up to do this, so these little clips that hold the individual pieces into place on the track. There's a little plastic piece that runs all the way up. This one was out and I cannot replace it. It seems that the hole that it goes into, which is also plastic, seems to have worn. So now it won't stay in place. Even though I can put it there, it will pop back off. So they do recommend when you get the bed that every 6 months or so you alternate where the heaviest part of the body weight goes, alternate some of these cushions and put some that are not carrying a lot of weight up at the top, and vice versa, some of these that do take a lot of weight down at the bottom, so that there's more even wear of the foam, because eventually the foam will probably condense just due to time. But that's the Dreama, the Jencks Dreama bed, and it's a pretty nice bed for somebody who needs a lot of support and control. There are many different components. If you look online, there are abductor rolls. There's a lot that you can have with straps. Unfortunately, I only have one piece with a strap, but they do come with the option to have a strap built in. So you can, when you look online, you can select those. And that way you can kind of keep an arm or a leg in place. And that's the Dreama. Thank you very much. Is the Versaform pad, but it's very similar to the Sleep Form system, and it's basically a moldable pillow, and for the bed it would be the entire bed or in sections, filled with the styrofoam beads. And what you do is you actually create the shape that you want, customized to that individual, and then you just pull out the air and the shape tends to stay in place because it's a sealed pillow. And it's very lightweight. It's just styrofoam beads. It is washable, obviously. And some of the things that have come up in discussions with people, it's very lightweight and easy to transport. However, if you have any concerns that your child might turn in the night, it is plastic, so that would be something, safety concern possibly. And the other thing is you can easily reshape it anytime you want. If you wanted to go from supine to sideline, you just let the air back in and reshape it the way you want. So you can kind of push those beads around and create a different shape. So that's a nice, pretty easy to do change. The child could then go into an alternative position without too much difficulty. However, it probably also is a little bit warm because of the plastic, so you have to consider that for thermoregulation. And once it's there until you reshape it. So you would have to constantly be the one to decide how you want the child to be positioned in order to get the right shape. Very similar to how they do a custom molded seating. So I think part of the trick of it is understanding what's a good position and being able to reproduce that pretty successfully at home. They do tend to leak in air eventually and get soft, so that would be the only other thing to be considerate of. Make sure you check it every night and be sure that the pillow is well shaped for the child. And that is the